1. Refuse. Just say no to things you do not need.
This shirt is so out of style.
Why not take it to a flea market? Number 2. Reduce. Buy only what you need and share with your neighbors.
1 iced Americano coming right up.
Can I get that in my tumbler? Number 3. Reuse. Single use. That's not how we do things.
This is such a hassle. Let's just throw it all in together.
You've got to peel off the labels and rinse them out. Number 4, recycle. Rinse it, peel it, and recycle properly.
This looks different from other sponges.
It's a biodegradable loofah. Number 5, rot. Choose a product that returns to nature.
Refuse, reduce,
Reuse, recycle,
and rot. The 5R pledge to protect our planet.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your number 1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영화방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM Busan 영화방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM Busan 영화방송 to your Kakao friends list.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
We all know by now that the U.S. and Iran have signed a preliminary deal, with the official signing to take place later this week. However, the specific terms of the deal remain a secret. What's more troubling is that Israel is remaining firm on remaining in Lebanon, further distancing itself from the U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal. And furthermore, what does Iran say? Well, it says that the Strait of Hormuz won't have tolls, but might have fees. What does that mean? Well, it seems that the terms of this deal haven't quite been agreed upon. That's the feeling that most pundits get. Is it too early for us to be optimistic about this deal, whether it's short-term or long-term? I guess we'll find out soon. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan here on BFM. It's Wednesday, June 17th. Good morning, Morning Wavers, it's Wednesday already. It's hump day, so I've been looking forward to this day because it's been an interesting week of sorts. I hope that your week is going well. We're going to dive into our program today. So, of course, the biggest news story internationally is this ceasefire deal. We'll get details on this, of course, throughout our program today. But it seems that the real signing is going to take place Friday. That's according to both sides. We'll see, though, how this turns out because there's a lot of moving parts and the situation seems quite fluid right now. Well, let's dive into our text topic. Let's liven things up a little bit. So here it is. What is a movie, show, or comedy act that you find really funny? Maybe other people don't find it funny, but to you, it's just so hilarious. It's so funny. 자, 내 유머 코드에 딱 맞는 영화, TV 콘텐츠는 뭘까요? What might it be? For us, I don't know. As a team, okay, personally, I am not in love with like the slapstick. I like the kind of dry humor, the dry wit, a little bit of sarcasm that goes a long way. And our team here at Morning Wave in Busan, even though we gather early in the morning, during winter, it's like pitch dark, black outside, but we always find something to laugh about, like whether it's at ourselves, at each other, but we don't make fun of each other per se, but we're just always in a laughing mood. So I really appreciate that. And I want to thank our team for that. Well, you can send in your thoughts to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM, 부산영어 방송, to find our channel, subscribe, log in, and chat with other wavers. From your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. So same thing there. Go to Kakao, type in BEFM, 부산영어 방송, to find our account, and then add us as a friend. Then you can send your messages, photos too. The ways you can tune into our show on the radio here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. We are streaming live on YouTube. If you haven't checked out our brand new studio, yes, come check us out on YouTube. Also available on the BEFM app and the Papang app. So this is a lineup for this Wednesday. We have Jian for now in Busan. That's our local Busan segment. We talk about local stories. We have Haley for top stories in hour number 1. We have Jennifer coming in for Work Smart, Live Smart. And then in hour number 2, Food for Thought with Haley and Leon. For our special interview today, we're going to be talking about SpaceX because everybody seems so excited of this record-breaking debut of SpaceX. So let's find out what the buzz is all about. That's coming up with our expert in hour number 2. And before we turn to our local news, I do want to let you know about this youth-friendly city on-air program. So it is a recruitment opportunity for youth radio production teams. Whether it's individuals or teams, you will get professional broadcasting training and coaching. And you get to produce your own content with BFM along with the necessary funds and appearance fees. So how exciting is this? Applications are open until June 21st via email or in person at the Busan Jingu District Office, Job, Industry, and Youth Division. So go check that out. And now we're going to turn to Jian to see how she's doing first. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's time for now in Busan. So our text topic is all about humor. 유머에 대해서 얘기하는데요.
Yes.
What is like a movie or a show? Like what is your kind of funny?
Well, I love the TV series with the title Modern Family. Have you watched it actually?
Modern Family, of course.
Yes. I love their humor, the type of sarcasm and a quiet
but
jokes.
Also within like the family dynamics is what
right,
makes it
the
so
characters.
Special.
I
That's a
love
good
series,
one.
Yes.
All right, we're going to dive into some local news. There's growing opposition to a reported government plan to merge the country's 4 port authorities. So what's happening here?
Yes. So the government is reportedly considering merging the 4 port port authorities in Busan, Ulsan, and Yeosu, Gwangyang into a single organization. The plan is part of a broader effort to reorganize public institutions and improve efficiency.
Yes, and why are the port authorities then pushing back on this?
The labor unions say each port has a very different role and needs to be managed independently. They believe a single organization could weaken each port's strengths and make it harder to compete internationally.
I see. And what are they doing in response to this?
The union leaders from all 4 port authorities are holding a joint protest outside the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries building in Busan. They're calling on the government to immediately withdraw the merger plan.
Have they voiced their biggest concern? What is it?
They say the merger would go against the purpose of the Port Authority Act, which created separate organizations for each port. They also warn that the plan ignores local expertise and could hurt regional economies.
I see. So is this a final decision made by the central government?
Not yet. The Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries is reportedly against the proposal, but the government is still reviewing public sector reforms. For now, the future of the merger remains uncertain.
I see. Well, thanks for letting us know what's happening regarding the port authorities. Next, let's talk about Busan's, this group, BTS in Busan. There were 2 concerts. They didn't just fill the stadium, obviously.
Right.
This gave a huge boost to the local businesses. Do we have some numbers?
Yes, we do. So new credit card data shows that international visitors spend more across Busan during the BTS concert week. Overall spending was up compared to both the previous week and the same period last year.
Yes, and where did they spend the most money?
One of the biggest surprises was traditional markets. Spending there nearly doubled compared to the previous week, while department stores and large supermarkets saw only a small increase.
And if we talk about the specific parts of the city that benefited the most.
Oh, yes. Areas around the concert venue, as well as major transportation hubs like the airport and bus terminals, saw strong growth in spending. Popular tourist areas such as Haeundae-gu District and Junggu District also attracted more visitors.
Yes, and what kinds of businesses saw the biggest boost?
So accommodation topped the list, with spending at hotels and guest houses more than tripling. Bookstores, beauty services, storage facilities, restaurants, and taxis also saw a noticeable increase.
However, I did hear about some controversies regarding accommodation prices.
Yes, that's right. Although more visitors stayed in Busan, there were also complaints about sharply higher room rates.
Yes.
Some hotels were accused of canceling existing reservation and reselling rooms at much higher prices during the concert period.
Yes, very unfortunate. But thanks for the breakdown of how this affected the local economy. Next up, it is time for Busan drivers to pay their annual vehicle tax. So what do they need to know?
That's right. Busan City has issued this year's June vehicle tax bills covering about 1.04 million vehicles.
Yes.
Drivers have until July 3rd to pay.
Yes, and is the total amount different from last year?
Yes, but only slightly. The city expects to collect about 144.8 billion won, which is just a little lower than last year.
So question, why did the total go down?
Well, the city says it's mainly because there are fewer gasoline and diesel vehicles on the road.
I see.
At the same time, registrations of electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles have continued to increase.
Well, which vehicles make up most of the tax revenue?
Passengers' cars account for by far the largest share. They make up more than 94% of the total vehicle tax collected.
And just to remind people, what happens if people miss the deadline?
If drivers don't pay by July 3rd, they'll have to pay an additional 3% late payment charge.
Okay, so spread the word just in case you miss it. It's supposed to come to your registered address.
Yes.
Make sure you pay your vehicle tax. Moving on, a unique film festival celebrating the ocean is returning to Busan this week. What can visitors expect?
Yes, the Korea International Ocean Film Festival will take place at the Busan Cinema Center for 4 days, starting tomorrow on June 18th. It's the only film festival in Korea dedicated entirely to stories about the ocean.
And what is this year's theme?
This year's theme is Standing Before the Sea, 바다 앞에 우리는 in Korean. The festival explores the relationship between people and the ocean with films films focusing on marine life, the environment, and sustainability.
Let's talk about the kinds of films that will be shown.
Yes, a total of 47 films from 15 countries will be screened. The lineup includes documentaries, animated films, and short films covering a wide range of ocean-related topics.
Right. Any new features this year?
Yes, for the first time, the festival will have a special section featuring AI-made ocean films. It will showcase both selected competition entries and invited AI films.
Yes, and besides the screenings, anything else for visitors?
Yes, the festival will also host Q&A sessions with filmmakers, lecturers, and talk shows, giving audiences a chance to learn more about the films and the issues they explore.
I see. Thanks for all the local news today. Wishing you the very best. We'll check in with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Everybody, this was Gian. I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. It is congested on Gwanmun-daero from Bangham Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel right now. There's also congestion on the Dongso overpass from Hwangyang Ramp to Daegum. There's traffic building on Mandok-daero from Mandok intersection to Namhae Expressway Deokcheon Ramp. It's also looking slow on Luno-Samsung-daero from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge. It is currently 24 degrees Celsius here in Busan, sunny skies. The daytime high will go up to 28. However, clouds are expected to roll in by the afternoon. Looking at the weather nationwide, it's going to be hot again, with the daytime highs lingering around 30 degrees Celsius across the country. Inland regions may see heavy showers, including even thunder and lightning, so be prepared. This was your traffic and weather. We'll be right back with the morning brief. This is the morning brief. President attends G7 summit in France. President Lee Jae-myung is in Avion, France, at the Group of Seven or G7 as a partner country, where he had a brief conversation with U.S. President Donald Trump about North Korea. State auditor considering accounting audit of NEC. The Board of Audit and Inspection, BAI, is considering conducting a financial audit of the National Election Commission, or NEC, following the ballot shortage crisis, and is monitoring the ongoing Joint Police Prosecutors investigation along with the parliamentary probe. South Korea in consultations with U.S. and Iran on Hormuz transit. South Korea has begun consultations with the United States, Iran, and other relevant countries regarding navigation through the Strait of Hormuz following the signing of a ceasefire deal to end the war in the Middle East, the Foreign Ministry said yesterday. South Korean stocks up for fourth day to finish above 8,700. The Kospi shot up by more than 2% yesterday and closed at 8,726 points, extending their winning streak to a fourth day on optimism over a U.S.-Iran deal to end the conflict and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Japan raises interest rate to highest in 30 years. The Bank of Japan raised its interest rate to 1%, the highest in 31 years, following a surge in global energy prices. This was the morning brief. You're listening to hour number 1 of Morning Wave in Busan. We're joined by Haley for top stories. Let's turn to her right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to begin with the G7 summit and what happened with President Lee Jae-myung.
So President Lee Jae-myung started the event with a welcome event for the invited nations, first shaking hands with host French President Emmanuel Macron.
Yes.
And during a photo op, President Lee had about a 30-second brief encounter with U.S. President Donald Trump, where the two leaders were seen smiling and conversing.
Do we know what the two talked about?
Right. According to the presidential spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung, President Trump first asked about any inter-Korean updates, and Lee said that Trump could lead the way for a peaceful resolution to the North Korea situation, as he did with the Middle East war. And according to Kang, Trump expressed his intent to work for a resolution.
I see. Well, the president had multiple sit-downs with world leaders, I understand.
He's been having a busy day. So first with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, where the two discussed expanding the bilateral ties between South Korea and Germany with potential in economic, industry, science and technology, and security fields. The two leaders also exchanged their thoughts and insights on the situation not only in the Middle East, but also in the war between Ukraine and Russia. And then with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, they emphasized boosting strategic cooperation across national security, defense industry, energy, and key minerals. Here, President Lee Jae-myung sort of played a sales pitch where he said that with the change in global order, South Korea, being a defense industry powerhouse, is ready to actively contribute to Canada's security. President Lee also met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the two discussed strengthening cooperation across economic, cultural, and social fields, and to develop bilateral ties to new levels.
Yes, and the president also addressed the G7 in an AI session.
And AI, this being the global keyword, was the first of the expanded sessions. Here, President Lee shared his insights on the importance to share results of AI's development with all the countries for them to grow together. The president pointed out that many developing countries do not have access to this new technology and how that is becoming a new global equality issue.
Yes, so that's the first story. Well, moving on, it's been 2 weeks since the June 3rd local elections and the subsequent ballot shortage debacle. Yesterday, the parliamentary parties agreed on the course of a parliamentary investigation.
That's right. So the Democratic Party, the DP, and the People Power Party, PPP, agreed to launch a special committee on a parliamentary investigation into this issue. So yesterday, vice floor leaders Chun Jun-ho of the Democratic Party and Kim Sung-soo of the PPP reached an agreement to form a special committee, which will be headed by a PPP lawmaker, but it'll have an equal number of ruling and opposition party lawmakers, specifically 9 from the Democratic Party, 7 from the People Power Party, and 2 from minor parties. The bill will be handled at the National Assembly floor session tomorrow, meaning it'll be voted on. The investigation will go on for a minimum of 45 days with the possibility of an extension. The leaders said that because this is a matter of national interest and there isn't much partisan dispute, the matter was handled rather quickly.
Yes, and who will be summoned as witnesses?
So this will include the Interior Minister, the Interior Ministry officials, and officials from the city, county, and district offices where there were ballot shortages. But again, this is just the beginning.
Yes, and as this is going on, protests are ongoing in front of the Olympic handball gymnasium, right?
And although the size has been swelling and shrinking depending on the time of the day and the day of the week, but the things are still heated. And protesters are still refusing to let employees of sports federations go into their respective offices. And to the point that PPP leader Jang Dong-hyuk yesterday announced that the police, the sports federation officials, and protesters, they reached a tentative agreement to let officials into the gymnasium with true broadcasting cameras and a PPP lawmaker present to make sure that the ballots wouldn't be smuggled out, and that was the sticking point.
Yes, but this fell through.
Unfortunately so. So most of the protesters on the scene apparently agreed. However, when they were trying to get into the gate, one protester, a younger woman with the American flag around her, started protesting, holding onto the door, refusing to let people in. Tang and the other officials tried to convince her for about 2 hours to no avail. And here's the thing about these protests. It is not organized by any one institution or organization. There was no organized response to this, and they basically have to convince every single person if needed be.
Yes.
So the situation apparently turned very tense on the scene, demonstrators yelling amongst themselves. One man in his 40s was apprehended by the police for allegedly assaulting other protesters with a rock. So after Chang announced that the situation was over and that they were retreating, some protesters cheered and even taped off the gate with tape and rope.
Ooh, so that's the situation there. Thanks for the updates on that story. Well, up next, we are going to get into the latest of what's been going on with the minimum wage discussion.
Right, so the annual minimum wage panel discussions are ongoing. The latest session took place yesterday. So the key topic yesterday was to apply different minimum wage rates to different industries. And in Korean, we call that 최저임금, 업종별 차등 적용.
Yes, and this is an issue that the labor and management sides clash over pretty much every year.
That's right, pretty much. So the management side is for applying the lower minimum wage to vulnerable sectors like lodgings and restaurants. However, the labor side argues that this would put a stigma, 낙인, on certain sectors, and it goes against the entire intent of a minimum wage.
Has this been done before?
Well, yes, very briefly. So the Minimum Wage Act does say that the minimum wage could be applied differently depending on what type of business. And it was done temporarily in 1988. That was the very first year that the minimum wage was implemented. However, upon opposition from the labor side, this was pulled back the very next year. So the management side right now is of the position that that at least 3 sessions should be dedicated to this particular issue because 3 sessions is how long they spent discussing the contract workers' minimum wage. That was sort of a pre-labor issue.
Yes.
After this, the discussion over the actual minimum wage figure, the monetary amount, could begin in full.
Yes, and the labor side made its initial proposal, I understand.
Right, so the first demand by the labor side came in at 12,000 won, which would be over a 16% increase from this year's minimum wage.
Yes.
For a full-time worker who works 209 hours per month, the monthly wage would then come to 2.5 million won. Usually, both sides, the initial labor proposal is much higher than the minimum wage. The initial management side, they haven't made that yet, is usually at freezing the minimum wage, and they find the middle ground.
Yes.
So the labor side's argument is that for the last 3 years, the average rate of increase has been at 2.37% for the minimum wage. However, this actually falls under the average inflation rate of 2.66%, leading to low wage earners actually seeing their monthly wages go down. And their argument is that the minimum wage should not be lower than, for example, the cost of lunch.
Indeed. Well, thanks for covering this story. And we're also going to talk about the biggest story internationally, the U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal. What's happening?
As you said in the opening, the deal apparently has been signed electronically with the official in-person signing to take place in Switzerland. And the Swiss authorities have confirmed this. This will be signed at a mountainside resort in Bergenstock on Friday local time. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump is at the G7 summit in Evian, France. And speaking at the G summit, Trump said that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened by Friday on the day of the signing, and that the full text of the peace deal will be released in a formal setting. The U.S. initially gave a 24 to 48-hour window.
Yes. Well, one major party that is not officially part of the deal, as I said earlier, is Israel.
But they will really be the top variable.
Yes.
Right. So this ceasefire announcement, which came rather suddenly on Sunday local time, that was quite the shocker for Israel and its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Right.
And reactions here have been summed up as dismay and defiance, even, quote, a nightmare for Netanyahu.
Yes, and that defiance is showing with its continued attacks on Lebanon.
That's right, and this is despite the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, or at least the preliminary agreement saying that the hostilities will end on all fronts, which should include Lebanon. So the initial position came from Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, who stated that the Israeli military will not withdraw from the land they seize in southern Lebanon. And given this being the first official Israeli comment, it shows the sentiment within the Netanyahu administration. And Benjamin Netanyahu himself said in a press conference that Israel will not leave the occupied land in Lebanon.
That's right. Well, the question is how far Israel can push back against the U.S.
And that'll be a very much delicate balancing act, given its dependence on the U.S. for military and diplomatic support. So already we've seen some fracture lines appearing between President Trump and Prime Minister Minister Netanyahu in the past few days, if not weeks, showing how things have changed. And even as recently as Tuesday local time at the G7, Trump said that he still had a great relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but added that the Israeli leader, quote, has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. And Netanyahu is widely known to have convinced Trump to launch this war against Iran.
Yes, and speaking of the Israeli prime minister, he is in a particularly sticky spot.
Right, and it's not just with President Trump, but also domestically, because there is an election coming up in October, and that is already projected to be a very close fight. Already, Netanyahu's political opponents have seized upon the current situation, calling the situation, quote, either a direct and destructive confrontation with their greatest ally, referring to the U.S., or a submissive surrender of Israeli interest.
Yes.
And what's happened in the war so far has fallen short of Netanyahu's pledges, including regime change. Basically, another Khamenei is in power, and the destruction of Iran's nuclear program. And again, this goes directly against the image that Netanyahu has built for himself, which he's been dubbed, quote, Mr. Security and the Washington Whisperer. And another challenge to this, according to a CNN report, Israel apparently asked to see the ceasefire deal from the U.S., but the United States rejected it because the U.S. was concerned about the Netanyahu government leaking the MOU before it was officially announced.
Right. So once again, details of the deal are still murky, especially as a full deal will have to be hammered out across the next 60 days. One issue, though, that has emerged is his so-called reconstruction fund.
And to bring this back to South Korea, this could be of interest for South Korea as well.
Yes.
And this could be worth $300 billion. So first, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that Iran could gain access to the fund if it complies with the tentative peace deal during an interview.
Yes.
Of course, the U.S. has been always of the position that it will not give money to Iran in exchange for a deal. But this fund could potentially circumvent it because it would be a private investment fund.
I see. Well, the question is, where would the money come from?
Again, a lot of speculation at this point, but the Financial Times quoted a high-ranking U.S. official who said that it wouldn't come from governments, but it would come from corporations that would want to invest in Iran's energy industry. But the operational structure is unclear at this point. But the official did name countries including South Korea, Japan, other Asian, European, and even American firms that are apparently interested.
But President Trump apparently called this fake news.
Right. So on Truth Social, Trump wrote, quote, Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million, that seems to be a typo, is fake news put out by the Democrats. That was his wording. So here's the thing, because with the ceasefire deal in place, it's kind of being compared to the Obama-era deal. And there was heavy criticism amongst Republicans of the U.S. back then giving money to Iran. So that particular issue of money exchanging hands is very sensitive.
Well, what about South Korea? What has South Korea said about this report?
We will see. Because nothing's been made official yet, so it is harder for Seoul to have an official stance to something that is not official.
Okay.
So Foreign Ministry spokesperson Park Il said that they are monitoring the situation and added that South Korea will play a constructive role in the reconstruction of the Middle East and expressed hopes for a fast recovery of peace and stability in the region.
Yes. Thanks for all the updates. I know there was a lot to cover. For a final story, though, let's go to the UK, where it has joined the list of countries banning social media for minors.
This seems to be kind of a trend that's slowly but surely emerging.
Yes.
The UK announced that it is banning social media for teens under the age of 16. Not just that, but according to the government, the measures would go further than any other country in the world thus far.
Yes. So, of course, we have covered this ban on social media before, especially in Australia, and followed this up with experts. But the UK seems to be seeking much more to this.
Right. So let's look at the bigger strokes. So the usual children under 16 are not allowed to go on user-to-user platforms where they can post material alongside algorithms. Simply put, they cannot access Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, or X. but they can go on to messenger apps like WhatsApp and Signal.
Okay.
But here are the tougher restrictions. The government said that for the higher risk functions of live streaming and chatting with strangers, restrictions would be on by default for under 17-year-olds to prevent this cliff age of 16.
Okay.
It also stated that it's looking into overnight curfews and breaks in infinite scrolling for under 18s. More detail will be set out in July. And also this issue of AI romantic companion chatbots, which are designed to simulate sexual relationship or role play with users. They will have to enforce a minimum age of 18.
And when does this go into effect?
Right, so this again has just been announced. Details to come in July. The government's plan is to put the bill to lawmakers before Christmas, with protections expected to come into effect spring of next year.
I see. Social media companies, I'm thinking, they must be hitting back at this.
And this always happens.
Yes.
A country announces changes. Social media companies say it's not just a platform.
Right.
So Meta, YouTube, and Snapchat have all criticized the ban, citing Australia as an example. So that's saying that these bans risk isolating teens from online communities and information. And if there are no official ways, they will simply seek alternative, unofficial ways. However, Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that social media is making children unhappy. It's making it easier for bullies to harass and abuse teens and could even be harming their mental health. And he also trying to balance this line that the ban was not anti-tech, saying that you can be both pro-tech and AI, but at the same time protect children.
Yes. It seems like parents agree.
Absolutely. So according to a government public opinion gathering process, 91% of the parents said the social media user age should be set at least 16, with 83% saying that harms of social media outweighs its benefits.
Well, thank you so much for all the thorough reporting, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
Everybody, this was Haley for Top Stories. It's time to take a little song break. So here it is, Bruno Mars, Count on Me.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You know be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. You can count on me 'cause I can count on you.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to get to some of your messages today for our text topic. What's a movie, show, or comedy that you find really funny? And it might only be just for you, or maybe it's a common thing among and across different generations or demographics. 내 유머 코드에 딱 맞는 영화, TV 혹은 컨텐츠는 뭘까요? I'm going to read first up. Let's see. Oh, we have a message shouting out Friends. Okay, so this person thinks that Friends is a particularly funny show, that this is right along the lines of their kind of humor code, 유머 코드라고 하죠, in Korean. So that is one response that I can see right now. Also, oh, by the way, that was from 사랑 더 23님. So thank you for that. Oh, they also shout out The Big Bang Theory. So that's actually was on air for a really long time and was a very popular sitcom in the US. But of course, with OTT platforms these days, we have access to so many different types of funny shows, whether it's like the full-on comedy shows or their sitcoms. And I hear that somebody was celebrating a birthday yesterday. So yesterday was apparently Kosu's birthday. So we are going to play this song, Happy Birthday to You by Joy. And then I'll be back with Jennifer in just a moment. Happy birthday.
이슬비가 내리는 오늘은 사랑하는 그대의 생일날 온종일 난 그대를 생각하면서 무엇을 할까 고민했죠. 난 가까운 책방에 들러서 예쁜 시집에 내 맘 담았죠. 그 다음엔 근처 꽃집으로 가서 빨간 장미 한 송이를 샀죠. 내려오는 비를 맞으며 그대에게 가는 길 너무 상쾌해. 품속에는 장미 한 송이 책 한 권과 그대 위한 깊은 내 사랑. 아름다운 그대를 만난 건 하느님께 감사드릴 우연. 작은 내 맘 알아주는 그대가 있기에 이 세상이 난 행복해. 라라라라 라라 가까운 책방에 들러서 예쁜 시집에 내 맘 담았죠. 그 다음엔 근처 꽃집으로 가서 빨간 장미 한 송이를 샀죠. 내려오는 비를 맞으며 그대에게 가는 길 너무 상쾌해. 품속에는 장미 한 송이 책 한 권과 그대 위한 깊은 내 사랑. 아름다운 그대를 만난 건 하느님께 감사드릴 우연. 작은 내 맘 알아주는 그대가 있기에 이 세상이 난 행복해. 너무너무나 행복해. Happy birthday to you.
Welcome back, everybody. It's now time to jump into our next corner. We have Jennifer here for Work Smart, Live Smart. Good morning.
Good morning. What a lovely song.
Yes.
And happy belated birthday, 고수님.
And to everybody celebrating a birthday, with it, whether it's yesterday or today. And what do you think of our new surroundings?
Oh, so glamorous.
It's like so overwhelming, is it not?
Yeah.
Yes. So I promise we'll stop commenting about the studio. Just bear with me for this week, and then we will.
I feel like I'm in New York.
Lots of bright lights, right? Yeah. And for a text topic today, we're talking about any type of movie, show, comedy that really you find funny.
Oh, these days I'm addicted to 이수지님's content. Anything by her.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Right. And she gets like the impersonations like spot on.
Oh, yeah.
It's like exaggerated, but so good. That's why.
Yeah, she gets the point.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good one. Well, we're going to dive into Work Smart, Live Smart. What do you have for us today?
Today, I want to talk about a dilemma that almost every single professional faces at least once in their career.
Ooh.
It's the ultimate chicken or the egg question of the corporate world.
Yes.
Should you quit your job first and then look for a new one? Or do it the other way around? So 선퇴사 후 구직이냐 아니면 선구직 후 퇴사냐? 네, 이것이 주제입니다.
Okay, well, this is such a classic.
Tricky, right?
Yeah, highly relatable conflict. I hear so many people stressing about this very issue. On one hand, searching for a job while working full-time feels completely exhausting.
Oh, yeah, it does.
On the other hand, quitting without a safety net, that sounds absolutely terrifying.
Oh, exactly. It's a high-stake decision, and both paths have very distinct pros and cons.
Yes.
So let's start with a quit first, look later approach.
Okay.
Quitting before you have a new offer in hand. Scary, right?
Yes.
I wonder why people choose this seemingly risky path. Do you have an idea?
I wonder too. I'm just going to take a stab at this. My guess would be maybe that person is really burnt out and they just want like a little break. And while they're taking that break, kind of breathe, take it in, and then go on a job search. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's
Okay.
probably right. The biggest advantage of quitting first is that it gives you 100% of your time and energy back. You can truly rest, heal from burnout.
Yes.
And treat your job search as a full-time job, so you're more focused. It allows you to be fully flexible and
Yes.
prepared for job interviews. However, the downside to this, we know, is that it can be brutal. And
Yes.
the biggest enemy here is time.
That's so true because, the employment gap time starts a ticking, right?
yeah.
Like tick, 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 you hear it. And at first that freedom may feel like amazing, but after a few months, as your kind of savings maybe dwindle down, that anxiety, I'm sure, is going to kick in.
Not even few months, even after like few weeks, I would feel that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Economists and recruiters often warn about the desperation trap.
no.
When you quit without a backup, you're on a financial countdown.
Yes.
If the job search takes longer than you expected, then say 6 months or more, the financial and psychological pressure might force you to accept the very first offer that comes along.
Ooh.
So even if it's a worse company than the one you just left, you end up jumping from frying pan into the fire.
Oh, I don't like that phrase, but it's so succinct. It's like, oh, you got it. Frying pan into the fire. So that is a scary reality. Plus, don't interviewers sometimes look at a sudden employment gap with a bit of suspicion? Because I've been on job panels and they always they zero in on there was a 3-month gap here. What were you doing for those 3 months? They always ask that.
Yeah. Fair or not, some higher managers still wonder, why did this person leave so abruptly? And why didn't this person stay for like only 3 months? Or was there a performance issue? So if you choose to quit first,
Yes.
you need a very strategic narrative to explain your gap confidently.
예를 들어서, you cannot say, for example, this is what not to say. 뭐 쉬었지 뭐요. 어쩌라고요. 쉬면 안 되나요?
I wish I could say that.
You're thinking it, but you can't say it.
Yeah.
No. You won't get hired, right? All right. So, I don't know. The thing is this, the opposite approach, which most career experts traditionally recommend, is look first, quit later. Finding a job while you are still gainfully employed. And the main benefit, I think, is obvious, right? I mean, yes.
You feel safe.
Yes.
And it's a maximum security.
Right.
You maintain a steady paycheck. You still get your money. Your financial stability isn't threatened. And you have immense leverage during salary negotiations.
Ooh.
When you already have a job, you don't project desperation.
They can smell that a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
That desperation.
Oh,
right?
yeah. You can just say no to bad offers and wait for the perfect fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like a perfect strategy in theory. But in practice, it must be incredibly difficult.
It is a logistical nightmare, I should say.
Yes.
Imagine trying to sneak out for a second round of interview in the middle of your busy work schedule.
Oh.
You have to make up excuses, take sudden half days, or pretend you have a dentist appointment. It creates a lot of corporate guilt and paranoia.
True.
You feel like a secret agent inside your own office.
X-Men이에요.
네.
갑자기 이 아파요. I gotta go to dentist. 반차.
뭐 거짓말도 계속 생각해내야 되는 거죠.
Right. It is logistically a nightmare. And if your current job is already demanding, doing a job search on top of that means that you are essentially working 2 full-time jobs. So it can actually accelerate your burnout, no?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You are burning the candle at both ends.
Yes.
And speaking of a job hunting while employed, there's a one credential trap you must avoid.
Which is?
Leaving your resume completely public on career websites with a banner saying open for opportunities.
하지 마세요. That's really important because if your current HR team or like your manager or even your colleague, they might snitch on you. Spot your active resume online. I mean, it can instantly break professional trust, right?
Exactly. It makes you look disloyal and it can create a very awkward environment even before you find a new job.
Right.
So if you are looking while working, always remember to use the privacy or block current employer features on those job boards to protect your current position.
Oh my gosh, that is such a vital, practical tip. So for those of you who are in that situation, in that boat, we don't envy you. So given these 2 starkly different paths, what is a smart professional way to approach this decision? I mean, how can someone know this is the right way for me? This is the right path for me. How do you know?
Well, it's tricky, but I think it really comes down to an honest assessment of 2 things.
Okay.
First, your financial runway, and second, your mental health.
Oh, okay. That's really important. And if you're leaning toward quitting first, the golden rule is to have what some people call is a resignation fund.
Oh, 맞습니다.
Right? A little nest egg. So I hear that career experts, they recommend having at least 6 months ideally 9 months of living expenses saved up. So we're not talking about just like food and rent, but I think this means that you have peace of mind as you are kind of staying selective, not reaching for like the first job that comes along, correct?
Because when you're looking for a job, you're like very optimistic and you think you can find a better one within 3 months or like next week. But the reality is different, right?
Yes.
So
if staying at your job is actively damaging your well-being, though, I mean, we gotta prioritize your health, your mental health first.
Mental health. If someone is experiencing like severe clinical depression or physical illness due to their current workplace, waiting might not be an option. It's very dangerous.
Yes. So instead of, blindly sending out resumes when you're tired at night, what should we be doing? Maybe like dedicating 1 to 2 hours per day applying for jobs, or what do you recommend?
We should have a exit plan. So instead of like blindly sending resumes, like you said, when you're tired, we should have a plan.
Okay.
And it's like the plan shifts the dynamic from a chaotic escape to a controlled professional transition. So a career transition should be an upgrade, not a panic move.
Okay. So what would be your final advice for listeners who are maybe even losing sleep? I definitely hope not losing hair over this decision because it's really stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember that there is no single correct answer that applies to everyone.
Right.
One size doesn't fit all. So don't let peer pressure or rigid career advice dictate your move. If you need to quit to save your sanity,
yes,
do it. But do it with a financial plan. And if you choose to stay and look, remind yourself that the secret scheduling and the extra fatigue are just the temporary steps toward a much better future.
Right. And I know it sounds so cliche, but like when you think about not just your job, but your overall career, it is more of a marathon and not a sprint, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So we need to maybe manage and pace ourselves. And I don't know, I think like switching jobs is so stressful, but I certainly think that we need to be kind to ourselves, no?
Oh, yeah,
Any last
definitely,
words?
yeah. We need to give ourselves the grace to either rest when necessary or have a strategy that's something we have the leverage without letting fear drive the steering wheel.
Yes.
Because it can be really scary and like worrying, not knowing what's going to happen.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for all the useful information, but the great tips you gave as well. I'm sure people will put them to good use. So happy job hunting for everybody out there if you're looking to switch jobs.
And
right?
I hope you find a better one. Not the worst one.
Oh, no. Yes, absolutely.
Because when you are like in a rush, you end up just grabbing anything.
Yeah. Yes. And we don't want that. So
please don't do that.
Thank you so much for all the great information. We'll check in with you next week, everybody.
See you next week.
This was Jennifer. Now it's time to wrap up hour number 1. We have more in hour number 2, including our special interview and, of course, food for thought. This is Dream High by Taehyun, Wooyoung, and Suji. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
Dream high.
I dream high. 난 꿈을 꾸죠. 힘들 때면 난 눈을 감고 꿈이 이루어지는 그 순간을 계속 떠올리며 일어나죠.
두려운 내 끝에서 난 오늘도 흔들리죠. 떨어질까봐 날아오르지 못하는 어린 새처럼 자꾸 내가 할 수 있나 내 꿈이 이루어질까 내딛는 걸음 한 걸음 걸음이 다시 두려워질 때마다
Dream high. 난 꿈을 꾸죠. 힘들 때면 난 눈을 감고 꿈이 이루어지는 그 순간을 계속 떠올리며 일어나죠. I can fly high. 나는 믿어요. 언젠간 난 저 하늘 위로 날개를 펴고 누구보다도 자유롭게 높이 날아오를 거예요.
넘어진 날 일으켜줄 용기가 필요하죠 먼지를 털고 다시 일어나 또 한 번 뛰어갈 용기가 다시 한 번 나를 믿고 나의 운명을 믿고 모든 걸 걸고 내 키보다 높은 벽을 뛰어넘을 거예요
Dream high. 난 꿈을 꾸죠. 때면 난 눈을 감고 꿈이 이루어지는 그 순간을 계속 떠올리며 다시 일어나죠. I can fly high. 나는 믿어요. 언젠간 난 저 하늘 위로 날개를 펴고 누구보다도
fly high 아픔들은 이제 모두 다 bye bye 하늘에 있는 저 별들처럼 높이 날아봐 네 꿈들을 펼쳐보는 거야 time for you to shine 이제부터 시작이야 gotta make it mine 네 손으로 이뤄가 밀어주려 하지만 이젠 힘껏 자신 있게 걸어가 destiny 숙명이지 멈출 수 없는 운명이지 지금 우리 눈앞에 펼쳐지지 이건 너를 위한 whole new fantasy 그러니 이제부터 여기 내 손을 잡아 우리의 목표는 지금부터 하나 꿈과 미래 포기하지 않아 젊음 열정 여기 모두 다
Catherine, how are you? Can you hear me, Professor? Can you unmute your mic, please?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
Okay.
Can you pronounce
How
your
you
name
doing?
for me, please?
Zahir Ali.
Zahir Ali, got it. Can you do me a favor? First of all, are you going to be wearing your glasses or not? Because they're on top of your head, but with the screen behind you, they're like it's going in and out. So.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I just forgot they were there.
Okay. So, and then if you could lower your camera just a little bit, we're going to check right now.
Like that?
Hold on just a second. Our producer's checking it. Okay, it's good. Can you say something a little bit longer? She's going to check the audio right now.
All right, let's see if this checks out with the audio system.
Can you count from 1 to 10, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, we're good to go. What's
8.
going to happen is, Professor, in about 3 minutes, I have a short news segment. It goes on for 4 minutes. And then right after that, 4 minutes past the top of the hour, we're going to go straight into the special interview. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, and just in case our producer, she'll be communicating with you via the Zoom chat box. So if you can keep your eye on that, leave everything on, everything open. Oh, okay. Can you mute your audio for now? And then 4 minutes past the hour when she tells you to unmute. Is that okay?
Done.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영화방송.
여러분은 영어 왜 배우시나요? 영어 드라마를 자막 없이 보기 위해? 아니면 해외여행지에서 현지인과 자유롭게 대화하기 위해? 더 넓은 세계와 연결되고 싶은 여러분만의 영어 여정이 있으신가요? 영어를 배우게 된 계기부터 나만의 영어 공부 팁을 BEFM에서 함께 나눠보세요. 영어가 내 삶을 어떻게 바꿔놓았는지 그 특별한 이야기를 들려줄 주인공은 바로 당신입니다. 부산 시민이라면 누구나 참여 가능. 자세한 사항은 부산 영어방송 홈페이지에서 확인하세요.
셰프 에드워드 데이입니다. 빨리빨리. 한국 사람들은 이 말을 입에 달고 살더군요. 하지만 걸음을 멈추는 모습에 놀랐습니다.
제가 들어드릴게요.
여기 앉으세요.
가장 빠른 나라 대한민국에는 가장 따뜻한 멈춤이 있습니다. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock. 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 The time
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for 8 o'clock Spotlight News. President attends G7 summit in France. President Lee Jae-myung is in Evian, France, at the Group of Seven, or G7, as a partner country, where he had a brief conversation with U.S. President Donald Trump about North Korea. According to Cheongwade, President Trump asked President Lee about the latest in inter-Korean relations, and Lee responded by asking Trump to take the lead for a peaceful resolution to the North Korea issue. Lee earlier wrote on social media that being invited to the G7 summit for the second consecutive year is a deeply meaningful testament to the trust and expectations that the international community places in South Korea. State auditor considering accounting audit of NEC. The Board of Audit and Inspection, or BAI, is considering conducting a financial audit of the National Election Commission, or NEC, following the ballot shortage crisis, and is monitoring the ongoing Joint Police Prosecutors investigation along with a parliamentary probe. The NEC is an independent constitutional organization that is not subject to a full-fledged performance audit, but an accounting audit is deemed to be without political implications. In the meantime, parliamentary parties agreed to conduct a 40-day investigation into the ballot shortage crisis and to launch a special committee. South Korea in consultations with U.S. and Iran on Hormuz transit. South Korea has begun consultations with the United States, Iran, and other relevant countries regarding navigation through the Strait of Hormuz following the signing of a ceasefire deal to end the war in the Middle East, the Foreign Ministry said yesterday. A large number of vessels, including 24 South Korea-linked ships, have been stranded in the waterway, which Iran has effectively choked off with threats of missile and drone strikes. According to the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Seoul is closely monitoring a range of factors before making judgments on passage operations, including the presence of naval mines, the overall security situation in the strait, and shipping traffic conditions. South Korean stocks up for fourth day to finish above 8,700. The Kospi shot up by more than 2% yesterday and closed at 8,726 points, extending their winning streak to a fourth day on optimism over a U.S.-Iran deal to end the conflict and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Foreigners and institutions bought a net 1.54 trillion won and 703.53 billion won, respectively, while individual investors sold a net 2.18 trillion won. The Korean won weakened against the U.S. dollar, however, quoted at 1,511.6 won at the close of market yesterday. Japan raises interest rate to highest in 31 years. The Bank of Japan raised its interest rate to 1%, the highest in 31 years following a surge in global energy prices. The decision comes as some other central banks have raised interest rates this year as the U.S.-Israel war with Iran pushed up the cost of living. Japan's interest rates were cut aggressively in the 1990s to combat the fallout from a collapse in price of assets. Higher energy prices, along with a 6-point increase in wholesale prices, likely triggered the hike. And this was Spotlight News. For a special interview on this Wednesday morning. And for today's topic, we're going to talk about SpaceX. Speaking of stocks, my goodness, SpaceX's stock jumped on its first day of trading on Friday after a record-breaking public debut, helping CEO Elon Musk become the world's first trillionaire. Shares of SpaceX rose nearly 20% by the end of the day, giving the company a valuation of more than $2 trillion and making it one of the most valuable companies in the world. But despite reporting billions in losses, investors are pouring money into this company, betting not just on what it does today, but on its ambitious vision for the future, especially in artificial intelligence or AI. Today, we want to get a better understanding of what is driving the hype and what the risks are. Joining us today is Professor Zahir Ali, the director of the Space MBA and professor of Space Strategy and Commercialization at the University of Central Florida. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi there, folks, and good morning over there. It's my honor to join you.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, Professor. To begin, for our listeners who may not be familiar with this company, what exactly does SpaceX do?
Well, SpaceX, if you somehow haven't heard, is a rocket company. Started in the early 2000s. It started out with the idea of colonizing Mars, as the CEO Elon Musk has famously said, and it is the ubiquitous private launch company in the world. NASA and others launch rockets, create rockets on behalf and directly for the government. They are government bodies. SpaceX is a private company, like a Lockheed Martin or a Boeing, but their primary business is to provide access to orbit and beyond coming up, and also to operate and provide access to communications via systems like Starlink.
Well, thanks for the explanation. We do appreciate it, Professor. There's been a lot of buzz about the company recently. Why do you think that there is so much excitement about SpaceX right now? Is it just because of the IPO, or is there more?
SpaceX represents in many ways the maturation of the space economy to a certain stage. If you think about the Columbian expansion of Europe into the true Western Hemisphere and the Americas, SpaceX is the first galleon loaded with gold coming back from South America for Spain. It's the buzz and the interest is because it is the largest IPO of any kind ever in history. It's not just about the space economy, but it's about the economy overall. And fundamentally, it represents the human capability to do business in space in a way that has never existed. And the future is bright. SpaceX and its technologies are the beginning of an era where humans are doing more and creating more value and closing business cases on orbit.
Yes. And so, like you said, Professor, SpaceX is known for its rockets, but also runs satellite internet and is moving into AI. For you, though, which part of SpaceX's business is most noteworthy? What gets you excited?
I mean, it's hard to pick one thing, right? They reduced the cost of launch by a factor of 10, by 2020. Which is one of the primary reasons you have this huge emergence of the space economy. So a cheap launch, relatively cheap launch, so cheap that a bunch of 13-year-olds can pool together money from odd jobs to launch a CubeSat cheap, is enabling business models that our parents never thought would be possible in space. Starlink, of course, the ability to truly never be without connection anywhere you are in the world. Whether it's helping scientists in Antarctica count penguins or nomads in Inner Mongolia know what the weather's going to be and maybe watch a movie online. This is a capability that is astounding. But to your point, the AI portion is a big deal. And they just today inked a deal with Cursor. That's a huge thing. Space is coming for silicon. Everybody on Earth had better watch out, whether it's data centers, whether it's silicon itself, or whether it's the AI algorithms and their ability to be deployed globally. The space economy is coming into that sector.
So is that why, I understand, of course, the company is valued at $2 trillion and technically maybe still losing money. That's why investors are willing to pay so much and get in on this.
Yes. So when you look at a company like SpaceX, the only thing you can compare it to are, is a company like a Google or like an Apple or like an Amazon. And if you recall, early days of Amazon, right, they were losing a lot of money too. Stock price kept going till they really turned the corner. And in many ways, that's what investors are betting on with SpaceX. They're betting on the reality that SpaceX is going to be the primary capability for both the Space Force and NASA to support operations, both military and commercial and exploratory around the moon. It's likely to be the first private company capable of supporting asteroid mining. It's going to be critical to getting stuff up and down from space, like 3D printed organs or materials that can make computation 10 times faster than it is just because they're made on orbit instead of on Earth. So that upside is really what is behind that valuation.
I see. And the company has been talking about building AI infrastructure even in space. What are your thoughts? How realistic is this?
It's going to happen. How it happens, what the form factor is, that's yet to be determined. There's a lot to be said for computation on orbit. It's critical because it reduces what we have to beam down. There's something called the log jam or bottleneck in communications from orbit, meaning we can't get all the data down without a lot of latency. So it'd be great to do more processing on orbit. That's going to happen. But there's a huge opportunity for quantum and training models at massive scale, not just on orbit, but also on the moon. And so when you think about the AI infrastructure for the human species is going to extend between the moon and Earth and all the different things in between. And what's fascinating is SpaceX is positioning itself to be the key player every step along the way.
Yes, and for a final question for today, Professor, what do you think might be the biggest risks or concerns that people should still keep in mind?
Well, like any investment, I mean, I'm not on here giving investment advice, first of all, but any investment
Right.
has risk. There is right? There's technical risk. There's physics we have to figure out.
Yes.
And there's also plenty of political, economic, global risk that's part of this. The supply chains are challenging for all of the materials that are required to make the hardware to make this happen. But at the end of the day, this is not just about SpaceX. This is about the trajectory of the human species and where we are going, which is to the stars. And so in so many ways, a bet on SpaceX right now is a bet on the human species becoming an interstellar species. And that's a bet that a lot of us are willing to make.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about SpaceX and what this IPO really means. Wishing you the very best. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thanks. Take care and join us at UCF sometime.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is Professor Zahira Ali, and we talked about why everybody seems to be so excited about this IPO. As the professor mentioned, the largest IPO in history, not just in this sector, but just overall, and hence the hubbub, the fervor right now going on about this. This was our special interview, and I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your updated traffic report. First up, there was an accident on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam Tunnel to Baegang Tunnel right past the footbridge. Also, 2 cargo trucks have gone into a collision on Nakdong-daero from the Eumgung Lotte Mart to Eumgung intersection, right before the intersection. Be aware of that area. Next up, the top portion of the Gwangan-daegyo Bridge. It is congested. Next up, it's slow on 중앙대로 from Yangjong intersection to Songgong three-way intersection. Currently, it's already 26 degrees Celsius here in Busan. It is sunny. It's going to go up to 28. However, in the afternoon, you might see the clouds roll in across the nation. It's going to be another hot one. Daytime highs lingering around 30 degrees Celsius across the country. Inland regions will see heavy showers, though, including thunder and lightning. This was your traffic and weather. And this is 마지막처럼 by Blackpink. And are you guys ready for our next segment? It's time for Food for Thought. And what is Food for Thought? For those of you who are just joining us right now, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many people on the screen, especially if you're on the NutTube. Well, this is our Wednesday segment where we get to converse, woggle, spill the tea on hot topics. And we have Haley and we have Leon. Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Leon, can I just comment on the gradation of blue, navy blue, and the sky blue that's happening on screen?
And we did not plan this, of course.
We did not.
So, Leon, first time in the studio. What are your thoughts?
I am very, very overwhelmed by all of this. To the point where I'm getting a little sweaty palms because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of camera and oh my God, the lighting is just blinding. I just wish our listeners could see what I'm looking at, but I'm literally looking at like 50 panels of eye-blinding lights, and I feel like I should sit straight up. And
I've never sweat so much in my entire life.
I feel like I'm almost on some TV news show.
I hope you're all wearing sunscreen. Because
right. I am.
Yeah.
These affect your
Yes.
right?
All right. Well, we are going to take a deep dive into some topics, and we're going to start with Haley today. So what do you have for us today?
All right. So before I dive in, I do want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What's on your bucket list? Like to visit, I want to see this before I die, or for my next trip, like this is it. Like I'm going to go here. And for waivers too. 자, 여러분 버킷리스트에 있는 여행지, 명소 어디신가요?
I have. Should I? Could I?
You can go first, please. Of course.
I think I've talked about this, but my bucket list is a world trip around the world in a year.
In a year.
1 year.
In 1 year.
With whom?
With my husband. No, with whoever I'm with at that time. I don't know.
Be honest.
Whomever.
Doesn't matter. I didn't think about with who, but I'm going to.
You're going.
And
Me, myself, and I.
Yes. And depending on the economic situation that I'm in, it could be a very low budget, like backpacking, or it could be, a mixture of like
cruise around the world.
Ooh. But I have to see everything.
Yeah.
What about
off
you?
the top of my head, one of my family members is going on his first business trip to Avignon, France. And I'm like, it's like, that's your first business trip? It's being paid for.
Fancy.
That's nice.
He found out yesterday. So excited. And I was like, make sure you have your passport. Check
Send
your
him
visas.
off with a shopping list.
No, he's on a tight budget.
Oh,
he just started.
Okay, well.
Yeah, he doesn't get mommy's credit card. So, what about you, Haley?
My next trip, depending on the
Yes.
euro, the currency rate, so that might happen never, but I really want to go to Florence. I want to go, I want to see the Duomo, I want to see, I want to go to the museum. So we're going to take a deep dive into culture and architecture today.
Okay.
Because the Sagrada Familia is finally complete.
Really?
And by finally, I mean after 144 years. So, that bizarre, for the lack of a better term, looking church in Barcelona by Antonio Gaudi. It is one of the most famous pieces of architecture in the world. And for a full century, the fixture around, the physical, literal fixture has been these cranes, the construction cranes, which I don't know, am I going to miss it now that they're gone? We'll see.
Yes.
So why 144 years? Well, because this year also happens to be the century, the 100-year anniversary after the death of the architect. Little bit of numbers. 172.5 meters tall into the air. It has earned Sagrada Familia the title of the tallest church in the world. And last week, it's now official because it's been blessed by Pope Leo XIV. Although, is it ever going to end? Because the interior work is still continuing.
Okay.
It's done, but it's not done.
Have you guys been to?
No.
I've actually seen it myself.
And what did you think?
It was so, like the photos don't do justice. If you're standing in front of it, you're just like, it feels so out of place and out of this generation, which obviously it is. And it's so big. And also I saw it with all the cranes, and I really hoped that, it was really getting in, in the way of really taking in the architecture, but very beautiful.
So I need to ask, why so long?
Because so big. Exactly, that's what Leanne said. It's a massive church, and even though Gaudi had lived to, he did die at a fairly older age, but it was always planned that he would never live to see the completion. But he did die in a very tragic manner. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
It was a momentous task from the get-go, and there was an additional challenge, though. Because, the thing about geniuses, though, if you've ever been taught by like a genius professor, their brains don't go from A, B, C, D. They go from like A to F to like M to Z, and they're like, why aren't you getting it?
Because we're not geniuses.
Because I'm a normal person. So he was never really detail-oriented in terms of blueprints to begin with.
Okay. Right.
But what little he left, it was destroyed in the Spanish Civil War in 1936. So for all the brilliant but maybe not quite Gaudi-level architects and his successors, they basically just kind of had to make a lot of conjectures and go off of the little clues. So it was this huge architectural mystery.
Sure.
Also, I do need to throw credits. The photos that you see are from both my sisters. I'm the only person in my family who's never been. So
nice photos.
So
it runs in the family.
I guess it runs in the family, and
Yeah.
there's no like copyright, whatever.
I
issues.
see.
We have the same last name,
Original
so those are
photos.
mine.
Nice.
Yeah, so
family.
as you can see, it is no ordinary church.
Right.
So Gaudi wanted to create a Bible in stone and to utilize wonders of the ancient world. Because back then, if you think about like the Notre Dame, the Gothic architecture,
Right.
you have the tall, towering towers. But then the heavy stones can't stand by themselves, so they have the support structures. If you learn that in school, these are called flying buttresses. They're like the lines that go from them. Gaudi hated it. It was like, those are so ugly. That's such an eyesore. So a key feature, he went to the ancient world for a catenary arch. So picture a chain. You drop a chain held only by its two ends, and it falls to create kind of a sharp curve. If we can throw up the exterior of the church, and if you turn that curve, like the sharp U, upside down, it apparently builds a stone arch, and tracing the shape, it will be extremely stable. So those towers that you see, basically kind of how you would flip a chain arch. And it was inspired by this arch of Tak-Ikishira in the modern-day Iraq, and it still stands today despite that arch or the tower having built in 3rd century AD.
3rd century?
AD. But yeah, still.
But you said the blueprints were destroyed. So how does his successors make this happen?
Right. So this has been one of the greatest mysteries. And like Leon said, the design is of a very, very, very far back generation, but it would also need modern day technology to make that happen.
Right.
Because if it were entirely built in stone, it is massive. It would have just collapsed. So the architects and structural engineers had to really think. And ultimately, they looked at stainless steel, they looked at metal, concrete, pre-stressed stone panel. You basically squish down a stone panel, and this is clearly, I'm not an expert, but you basically make it really, really dense and therefore very stable but fairly light. So that particular method devised by British engineers and created in the UK. And then the cross at the top of the final tower, the Tower of Jesus Christ, that was manufactured with German engineering and shipped to Spain in 14 different sections, and they used German engineering to lighten it. So it kind of goes to show how much technology and global effort was necessary to bring this architect's vision to life.
Right.
So put it simply, it's just pressed stone.
Pressed stone, yeah. You just make stone really
Because
dense.
I've always wondered,
Right.
how do they, get whatever they need for 100 years?
Right.
The same material to build this gigantic
Well, here's the
building.
thing. It's not the same material. Apparently, if you go, and because you see the very intricate sculptures and details, and then you see the stylistic changes towards the back of the church when his students and successors took over, and there are different materials. But even Gaudi experimented with different materials during his lifetime. But it is a work in progress and will always be, because, like you said, it took 100 years to complete. And you know what happens during those 100 years? Time. Weathering.
Right.
A little bit of destruction, temperature change, wind, even with the stone. In Korean, we say like 10년이면 강산도 바뀐다, times that by 10. And, the weathering in the church. So cracks have already proliferated. So I just think it's ironic that they're doing like remodeling and restoration as the original building isn't even complete yet. This too apparently was a part of Gaudi's original design, that it's always going to be this kind of a living thing.
Yes. And so naturally, this milestone event, though, that means people are going to be rushing to see this completed masterpiece because, as Leon said, you saw it, but you saw it with all the cranes, right?
Yes.
So when you went...
My photos look a little incomplete because there's so many cranes in every angle, right?
How crowded was it, though?
Always. I went on a weekend, and so there's like a hill that's also known for some architecture up there as well. This has been over like 20 years since I've been. And that place was fully packed because everyone goes there specifically to take a good picture of the Gaudi.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting.
I bet it's gonna explode more now, right?
Oh, yes.
Right, because adding to the already crowded Spanish travel scene, so in the shadows of the Sagrada Familia is a housing problem, which as tourists we don't really pay attention to.
Right.
But last year in the Catalonia region of Spain, where Barcelona is, they saw 20 million tourists. So what that's it, 20 million. I mean, we're at 3 million population of Busan.
Yes.
So it's like almost 7 times, and that is the highest ever. And of course, tourism is a major industry, but it causes housing shortages, the B&Bification of everything. And gentrification. It drives up rent, social infrastructure focused on visitors. You just want to go to like your papjip, but then everything's like tourist this and tourist that.
Right.
Traffic, detours from major events. I mean, we just had the BTS concert. And I mean, we're just kind of joking about like avoid sajik at all costs.
Yes.
Like, just give the neighborhood to the fans for that weekend.
Stay away.
Just give it up.
But then imagine that like every weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really stressful.
Exactly. It's super stressful. And then events like the Pope's visit, it's always crowded and noisy.
Yes.
So much so we've covered this, but the Spaniards had a tourist go home protest where they were shooting water guns
I remember that.
the tourists.
We covered that.
Right. So, and then at the center of the controversy is the Sagrada Familia, which had, 20 million visitors estimated last year. Because, yes, the main buildings are completed. Also, there's the other facade, apparently a very large stairway that leads up to the church and a massive square that's under planning right now. So for this then, because it's not just an empty void that it sits in the middle of, there are buildings and homes. So theoretically, they need to be cleared away. So up to 2 blocks, and that would equal a minimum of 1,000 up to 10,000 residents needing to move out to pave the way. And by pave the way, I mean demolish and get rid of those homes.
Yes.
So some local papers have even called this the curse of the Sagrada Familia for some locals. And residents claim that because Gaudi's original designs were destroyed in the 1930s, they're like, was this even his intention to begin with? So speaking of the architect, as I wrap up, Gaudi died from injuries that he sustained when he was hit by a tram. And because he kind of had this almost like ascetic monk-like appearance, he was abandoned in the streets because people thought he was, but they thought it was just a homeless guy. Like, he's no one famous. So to have this man be celebrated 100 years after his death, it kind of speaks to the enduring power of art and legacy. But then you also have to think about it. The reason that he appeared like a monk, had an ascetic lifestyle, is because he was so devout. He wanted to live like a monk, create this Bible in stone. He was actually on his way to pray when he was hit by a tram. So to have his work take away from the lives of those who live around it, is this something that he would want? Because apart from being a tourist attraction, Sagrada Familia literally means the Holy Family. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And if you think about, the irony of Jesus' birth not in a hospital or any hotel. So kind of taking to that. So that is perhaps a meaning that the architects and the authorities and even the visitors should consider when we, hopefully me, at one point go and visit, lay my eyes on this wonder.
Yes.
And if you have more time, I know there's a fun fact about his death. So he was hit by the tram, but apparently he wasn't taken to the doctor immediately because no one recognized his face. And he was dressed always so casually, almost too casually that people took him as almost like a homeless.
Which is very tragic.
And he's this prestigious known architect.
Well, thank you for giving us a history lesson today. And of course, that turns into modernity with the opening. So now we're going to turn to Leon. What do you have for us today?
All right. I feel like we've become so classy and 좋은 얘기하다가 I'm going to talk about 병맛 유머.
I love it.
Taking it down
contrast.
Quite a big of a notch over here in terms of
Okay.
quality. Because, 병맛 humor, or in English, I guess I have to say B-grade content, right? It sounds so awkward, though. Is that a term in the U.S.? B-grade content?
Not really.
B급은 우리나라
B급이라고 하진 않아요.
약간
Just
홈페이지
like-
같기도 하고.
Like B level, like D level, B level.
Like
yeah.
cheap. I don't know. Like how do we don't say
I
B
guess.
level, right? We don't
Yeah.
even say A level, B level.
No.
Like culty. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
But
so
in Korea, we call it
we'll
B
think
grade.
about that.
Yeah, so for those of our listeners who are not familiar with this B급 content or 병맛 humor, which is, I feel like it's a very Korean thing, it usually refers to something cheap, awkward, like over the top, simply bizarre type of content or humor. So we're looking at media that has like exaggerated acting, like strange, like weird storylines, and everything has to be very low budget, right? It has to have that cheap looking effect. And the jokes kind of make you wonder, what did I just watch? What is this? 뭐 본 거야? 약간 이런 리액션을 끌어내는. That's kind of like what this B-grade content or 병맛 humor is, right?
Yes. For American examples, I immediately think about like the Scary Movie franchise
or
The Hangover. So just kind of like low
That is
budget,
right.
like culty movies.
It's like they're... It's supposed to be scary, but it's just funny, right?
Right.
So.
They, you might also call it like a low brow humor. is the
low brow.
English term.
Yeah.
Low brow as in this brow?
Like
Like
low level.
brow?
Low level, yeah. Low brow.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's interesting is that, today's B-grade content, it's not simply bad content where it used to be looked at as bad content in the years previous. Most of these productions are actually very well crafted. The acting may look exaggerated. The styling may appear a little outdated, but underneath is a lot of this careful planning and actual good quality, right? And that's why people are increasingly nowadays talking about well-made B-grade content. It sounds so weird. It sounds so ironic.
It's like an oxymoron.
But it's like a genre in and of itself.
Right. And so the joke, it may look effortless, but creating this effective absurdity is apparently very difficult. So when we're talking about B-grade content, what's like the first thing that comes up to your mind? Have you guys watched any B급
Because my favorite thing right now is 취사병 전설이 되다. I need to figure out at one. Can somebody look up the English title? I lost my phone.
have that prepared.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
What is it?
I will talk about. The legendary chef soldier.
Okay, there we go. The legendary chef soldier. Like it's so lowbrow. It's so exaggerated. And then there's like the scene where the group, like this unit of soldiers, take a bite of something, and then it's just so amazing that they turn into a K-pop boy group. And then they're like, they start dancing, but then everybody has a flavor profile, like 신맛 누구, 쓴맛, like 쓴맛 Haley, 단맛 Catherine, and then they actually went on like an actual music show, and did a full-out stage.
Because one of the main actor, Park Ji-hoon, who we know...
He's an idol.
He's an idol, right? He's also
but he wasn't a part of that performance, though, funnily enough.
남자, right? He's very famous right now.
Right.
And so he's actually singing that song. That's amazing.
It's so funny.
You, Catherine, do you know anything that you've watched?
I'm not going to lie.
Do you only watch A급?
She's highbrow.
저는 A급만 봐요.
She's highbrow. Andrew calls it brain rot, what we're talking about. Thanks, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a little guilty pleasure, we could say.
It is.
But the thing that came up to my mind was 충주맨, right? Because I think he's the original person.
Can I put my feet up on the table on a nice fancy table? Like,
no. No, you may not.
He's the originator, right? I think after him, everything blew up in terms of
his Sam Smith impersonation.
Exactly. And that was so. And so for those of you who don't know what 충주맨 is, he was this he was this public official in the city of Chungju.
Yes.
And he broke the stereotype of stiff government officials, right?
Right.
And so instead of making polished promotional videos, he was using memes and awkward jokes. And also, obviously, he didn't have a lot of budget, so it was B급 naturally. And it became really huge. And because it was such a twist, like public officials doing something so fun and humorous. So that's one example for those of you guys who don't know what a B급 content is.
Yes.
Now, for another more recent example of B급 content is I have to talk about this movie called Wild Thing. But guess what the Korean title of this movie, Wild Thing, is?
What is it?
The title itself is B급 because it's Wild Thing.
Look at that poster.
Wild Thing.
Love it.
So I think
like
they tried
era.
to even make the title of the movie B급. Wild Thing?
그니까.
좀 약간 그렇잖아요. 우리는 thing인데.
Right.
So this is basically a movie that's starring Kang Dong-won, who obviously is A급 star. Taegu, you've seen that zoomed in right before.
Right.
And Park Ji-yeon. And they come out as this late 1990s mixed dance group. Basically, OG K-pop idol, right?
Right.
And you might think... you can already see the catch, right?
I mean,
좀 그만해.
발라드 왕자.
a meme,
우리 피디님의 픽은 저분인
아니
걸로.
그닌가.
발라드 왕자 최성곤 독전.
But he is the most famous one. Like 네가 좋아? 네가 좋아? Because that's like a scene from a movie.
And
오정세,
did
he's
you watch
such
it already?
No,
I'm
I'm so perpetually online that I haven't seen it, but I know all the memes.
Right.
That's just the type of person I am.
Right.
So like the 최성곤 character and 오정세 is like such a good actor. He really embodies everything that he plays.
Exactly.
And it's just memeified.
Yes.
Love it.
So this movie basically embraces this old school styling, exaggerated performance, and this very tacky Y2K aesthetic. You've seen the poster, right? And the hairstyle, right? It was like covering half his face. Like you have to be half blind. And so the audiences are a little bit confused when they see this poster.
Right.
But then they get the absurdity, they get the obnoxiousness of it, and it becomes a very funny B-grade entertainment that everyone's into these days. And the thing is that the wild thing, I don't know how to pronounce this. Wild thing in Korean, wild thing은요. It didn't stop at being a movie. I know it's been theaters on only this beginning of this month.
Right.
But now there's songs that come out of the movie, music videos. There's like poka photo cards based on this movie. And so it's almost being consumed like K-pop content in real time, except for this is a film.
Right.
So we can really see the popularity of this.
Yes. I have a question though.
Right.
Are we seeing more of this, things being more exaggerated, the exaggerated content, things are being more animated? Because I have noticed a lot of the dramas, movies are based on webtoons these days.
That is right.
Right. So do you think that there's an influence?
I think so too, because at one point, Korean TV series started becoming so exaggerated and so animated. And especially the action, right? It's like obnoxious. And I have to talk about, the recent series 참교육. Have you guys seen that?
참교육.
Before we go on, is that we have a photo of on our YouTube channel. That's Park Ji-hoon, right?
Yes. Yeah.
From the film.
Yes.
Wild Thing. So you can see
it's from the legendary.
from the
legendary
chef's
shoulder.
취사병 전설이 되다. 그러니까 this is the point where a lot of the audiences and fans love. We see A급 like big stars stooping so low and to give us a laugh, and it's so 인간적이잖아요. It's so like approachable, right?
Yes. It humanizes them.
It really does.
Right?
And it is
I love
webtoon
Park
based.
Ji-hoon은 이거 정말 멋지다. 근데 even though with actors like Kang Dong-won, a lot of people were saying 강동원이 저렇게 열심히 살면
That's exactly because I was like
나도 열심히
강동원이 왜?
살겠다. 강동원이 왜? And especially like singers like P. Yes, he is so so successful. But he does so many Pcup. Even his YouTube channel is like
called
Pcup something, right?
Right.
And everyone's commenting like P가 이렇게까지.
And then it kind of started with that 깡. Like it started with the meme because his song 깡 was so.
But he didn't intend the original song to be memeified.
He was so serious about it, though.
Serious.
And then this high school girl,
hilarious, right?
parodied it.
깡은 정말 진지했잖아요.
근데 너무 웃겨요.
But
so
then
funny.
But there was a little bit.
I like that he was able to turn that around because there's another like last song and people are like that sounds so much like trot, and he actually did a collab with Taejina.
Exactly.
So I think it's all about actors being able to make fun of themselves.
Do you remember? Because the first time I watched last song, my fingers were going like this.
It's so cringe.
나만 이런 거야?
손발 다.
With the reggae and the whole concept change, I get it, but it was just like too much.
But he turned it around.
Turned it around.
Exactly.
He was smart about it.
It was very unserious.
Unserious.
Even his proposal song to his current wife.
I
Anyways,
didn't see this one. Was it Bcup as well?
No, it wasn't Bcup, but it's like people were making fun of it because it was like he was so 진지해, and I think Psy produced a song.
Oh,
and he made this song to propose to his wife. And it was just
I'm
like
gonna have to look that up.
지금 그냥 들어도 it's just like the way he sings it. It's like I can't even imitate him.
너무 느끼한 건가요?
느끼.
나 지금 벌써 약간
you gotta
목에
listen
버를
to it.
가나
You know. You know. Yes.
Right.
Okay, so
these are, some of the factors why B급 are getting so popular.
Right.
Again, we're seeing so many big celebs stooping low. And we did briefly talk about Webtoon, but that's also partially why, because a lot of the TV series these days are being based on Webtoons, and we can't go too far away from Webtoons, and obviously anything can happen in a Webtoon, right?
Yes.
So that's a little bit of a factor. But also, why does it work so well these days, especially?
Yeah,
is because we're living in a short form era. Right.
We have short attention spans.
We have short attention spans. So here's the explanation for this. So we are in the media online. It's a short form media environment, right? Most of it. So platforms like the YouTube Shorts or the Reels, they give immediate reactions. And the traditional dramas or movies or dramas, it spends several episodes building that emotional investment. It like builds up. It spends a lot of time in giving us a bit of a background. 근데 big grade content delivers strong reaction within seconds, right? So it's so easy to market and use those couple of seconds to use as shorts and reels. And 그걸로 이제 홍보를 하고, and then these movies become famous, right? So there's kind of like the benefit of, why B급 content works well in this short form era.
And to be a little serious, like to be a little industry insight, someone who's like on the outskirts of it.
Yes.
A lot of the times these short form videos are the gateway for fans or for people just, because they pop up on the algorithm.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, that's interesting. And they'll kind of click on the link. I mean, that's how some of our own subscribers came into being.
Through the shorts.
Right.
And this is exactly how I got into the recent TV series 참교육. Because I was just on my YouTube, and then there was this teacher like doing 사이다, like a lot of comments that were very, very, aggressive. And I was like, what is all this shorts coming up? And then I had to get into the whole thing.
But, you got to check it out.
But then I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think, and I haven't looked at your script, do you think now the long-form producers are creating their contents with those shorts in mind?
Of course.
Yes.
Because for example, sometimes, because even me, sometimes I'll say things and think like, oh, this would be great for a short.
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah.
Exactly. And, I could compare this to songs these days, right?
Yes.
Because, a lot of singers, they're now coming out with songs that have very catchy phrases that you could do the dance challenge with. They always like two phrases, right? Because they need to do that shorts dance challenge, and then they have to make that couple of seconds very catchy so that if people are swiping up and seeing that, I don't know, like 10 seconds of that song, they want to listen more of it. I think movies and TV series are becoming kind of like that in a way. They have to put in that very attractive, catchy, aggressive.
Can I ask another question?
Right.
But then does the entire, like the whole, as a whole quality suffer? Because I've heard that K-pop songs no longer have bridges because they need to shorten it in the era of streaming. They want the hooks. And then if even films are focusing on those like memeable moments, then are we kind of sacrificing character development, like the whole flow, 기승전결 in place of that?
I love the flow. I like kind of the build-up.
Right.
And so, I don't know, maybe that's why I don't gravitate a lot towards not because I think it's below me, but it's just like, I like the build-up.
Because I heard some, like in Hollywood, they are specifically like writing shows to have shorter dialogue because they know people are going to be multitasking. They're going to be on social media. Yeah.
I think so. I definitely feel like when I'm seeing TV series, the 전개, the storytelling unfolds so fast. So after I watch it, I feel like, wow, that was so, 자극적이고 되게 재밌었는데. It was really fun, but I feel like I was just in a whirlwind of, this director was throwing me so many contents at once that I have to maybe rewatch it. But like with media that we're used to consuming in our generation, I didn't have to.
Right.
I didn't think about it like
walked
that.
you through.
Right.
So before we run out of time, a quick wrap up for Leon for your segment.
Oh, right. So we didn't get to talk about the advertisement. 이수지 advertisement도 얘기하고 싶었는데.
여기 근데 our producer she did 잠깐 띄웠어요.
맞아요.
With
so
수지
this
and
is
수지.
also going into B급 콘텐츠가 지금 not even in just films and TV series. It's also moving on to advertisement as well. So
there it is.
There it is. Yes. Did
So
you guys
good.
know that commercial racked up 12 million views?
I didn't know that many, but I knew it was really
12 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's definitely a craze for B급. And just as a wrap up, one of the major reasons why people are loving this B급 B-level content, lowbrow content, is because we are living, again, I feel like I'm saying this for every trend, economic uncertainty and difficult times. And people just want to laugh a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're going to call it a wrap. Thank you once again, ladies, for bringing us a lot of food for thought. I mean, we went highbrow, lowbrow in terms of the content. You guys are always top-notch qualities in my book. So thank you once again for an amazing food for thought. And of course, yes, we'll check in with you real soon, both of you. All right, it is now time to wrap up our program in its entirety. And, I want to give a shout out to our producer, Choyeji. Working hard behind the scenes, and we also have Yuna PD님 helping out this week, so thank you as well. Haley and Sue are writers. I'm your host, Catherine. I'll be back to do it all over again tomorrow. 네가 좋아 by 최성권, of course, from Wild Sing. Enjoy. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
네가 좋아, 네가 예뻐서 좋아, 네가 좋아. 네가 착해서 좋아 네가 좋아 네가 웃겨서 좋아 네가 좋아 좋아 죽겠어 처음 만났을 때는 다정했었지 해맑은 얼굴에 난 설렜어 두 번째 만났을 때는 내게 달콤한 인사라며 너의 얘기를 해줬지 세 번째 만났을 때 나는 알았어 너와 나는 같은 마음이라는 걸 네 번째 만났을 때 난 수줍게 내 맘 얘기라며 너는 손을 잡아줬어 네가 좋아 네가 좋아 네가 예뻐서 좋아 네가 좋아 네가 착해서 좋아 네가 좋아 네가 웃겨서 좋아 네가 좋아 좋아 죽겠어